Welcome to Danger, the channel where we dive into the world's most chilling true crime stories. Please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time we post something. In February 2018, 25-year-old Patrick De La Cerda was looking forward to marrying the woman he loved, Jessica Devnani. The young couple had become engaged and were planning their future together. But what should have been one of the happiest periods of their lives turned into a nightmare when Patrick was ambushed and murdered at his Florida home. The investigation would uncover years of obsession, threats, a secret double life, and a handwritten murder plan. Patrick De La Cerda lived in Deltona, Florida. Friends and family described him as kind, caring, and deeply devoted to those he loved. In June 2017, Patrick met Jessica Devnani through the dating app Plenty of Fish. Their relationship moved quickly, they traveled together, spent nearly all their free time together, and soon became inseparable. Patrick's family immediately noticed how happy he was. His mother later recalled that Patrick told her Jessica was the one. Within 6 months, Patrick proposed to Jessica. She said yes. The couple began planning their wedding and discussing where they would get married, possibly in Florida or France, where Patrick's mother was originally from. Before meeting Patrick, Jessica had spent approximately 8 years in a relationship with Gregory Bender, a wealthy hedge fund manager who was much older than her. According to Jessica, the relationship became controlling and toxic over time. One of the most shocking moments came when Gregory was hospitalized after a medical procedure. Jessica went to visit him and encountered another woman at his bedside. Jessica identified herself as Gregory's fiancée and showed her engagement ring. The other woman then revealed she was actually Gregory's wife and showed her own ring. Jessica later ended the relationship after discovering Gregory's double life. After Jessica moved on and began dating Patrick, Gregory reportedly became obsessed with their relationship. Jessica and Patrick allegedly received threatening messages, voicemails, and harassment from Gregory. Jessica later told investigators she feared what Gregory might do to Patrick. Gregory reportedly left messages suggesting he had plans and intended to put them into action. The harassment became so severe that Jessica sought legal protection. Eventually, a judge granted a restraining order against Gregory. As part of that order, Gregory was instructed not to contact Jessica and was ordered to surrender his firearms. According to later reports, there were questions about whether all of those weapons were ever actually turned over. According to testimony and investigative findings, Gregory hired a private investigator to secretly follow Jessica. The investigator recorded Jessica meeting Gregory at restaurants and other locations. Jessica later explained that she had only agreed to meet Gregory because she believed it would calm him down and prevent him from harming anyone. Gregory then allegedly sent those recordings to Patrick in an apparent attempt to create distrust and damage the relationship. Despite these efforts, Patrick and Jessica remained together. Patrick was waiting for a special delivery. He had ordered a custom engagement ring for Jessica and was expecting it to arrive soon. That morning, a package delivery notification was received. Investigators later believed Patrick thought the package contained the ring. When Patrick went to answer the door, tragedy struck. Someone lying in wait opened fire. Patrick was shot multiple times in what investigators later described as an ambush-style attack. The killer appeared to have planned the attack carefully and escaped before anyone could identify them. Jessica became worried when Patrick stopped responding to calls and messages. Unable to reach him, she drove to his home. There she made the devastating discovery: Patrick was dead. Jessica later described the moment as the destruction of her entire future. She immediately informed investigators about Gregory Bender and his long history of threats against both her and Patrick. At the crime scene, investigators noticed several unusual details. The killer had taken Patrick's computer and the hard drive connected to the home's security system. This suggested the murder may have been planned and that someone wanted to remove evidence. Detectives also recovered shell casings from .300 blackout ammunition, commonly used in AR-style rifles. However, despite Gregory quickly becoming the main suspect, investigators lacked direct evidence linking him to the shooting. For months, the case remained difficult to prove. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Gregory's ex-wife, Damara Sanchez, contacted investigators after seeing news reports about Patrick's murder. She told detectives she had previously discovered what appeared to be a detailed murder plan written by Gregory. The document reportedly contained information about Patrick's property and outlined how an attack could be carried out. Based on this information, investigators obtained a search warrant for Gregory's home. What they found stunned them. During the search, detectives discovered documents remarkably similar to what Damara had described. The papers reportedly contained Patrick's address, sketches of the property, notes regarding entry and exit routes, instructions concerning timing. Details that investigators believed matched the circumstances of the murder. One reported note instructed participants to wait until Patrick was alone before proceeding. Investigators also found ammunition similar to that used in the murder. This evidence gave authorities enough probable cause to arrest Gregory Bender. In May 2021, more than 3 years after Patrick's death, Gregory Bender went on trial for first-degree murder. The prosecution argued that Gregory's obsession with Jessica motivated him to orchestrate Patrick's murder. The defense acknowledged the existence of the writings but argued they represented fantasy rather than an actual murder plot. They claimed Gregory should not be convicted solely because he wrote disturbing thoughts on paper. Jessica Devnani and Damara Sanchez both testified during the proceedings. Prosecutors presented evidence of Gregory's threats, harassment, obsession, and the detailed planning documents found in his home. After hearing testimony and reviewing the evidence, the jury found Gregory Bender guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Patrick's family and Jessica, the verdict brought some measure of justice, though it could never undo the loss. One of the most controversial aspects of the case was the restraining order. Jessica and Patrick had taken legal steps to protect themselves. Gregory had been ordered to surrender his firearms, yet Patrick was still killed. Jessica later expressed frustration that the system had not done enough to prevent the tragedy. Patrick's family shared similar concerns, believing warning signs had been present long before the murder occurred. Today, Patrick's family and Jessica continue to remember him as a loving son, fiancé, and friend whose life was cut short just as he was preparing to start a new chapter. Patrick De La Cerda thought he was opening the door to receive the engagement ring that would symbolize the beginning of his future. Instead, according to prosecutors, he walked into a carefully planned ambush fueled by obsession and jealousy. Years later, a handwritten murder plan and the testimony of those closest to the suspect helped secure a conviction. But for Patrick's family and Jessica Devnani, justice came at a heartbreaking cost. Thank you for watching. If you want more factual and respectful true crime content, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, stay safe.